Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden in all 6 critical swing states, according to a New York Times poll of likely voters stupid enough to answer their cell phones despite the spam call alerts. Trump, appearing at a rally over the weekend in New Jersey, told a crowd of MAGA supporters that President Biden surrounds himself with fascists. See? But everyone still insists Trump never has anything nice to say about the guy. After the former president told a crowd of supporters at his big Wildwood, New Jersey rally that he's a huge fan of Hannibal Lecter, Trump aides had a hard time explaining what was going through Trump's mind when he said that. I'm going to say tertiary syphilis. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what was going through Donald Trump's mind when he said that. Trump held the big rally the day before Mother's Day, and thanks to Donald Trump putting 3 judges on the Supreme Court who lied during their confirmation hearings when they promised Roe was settled law. There are a lot more moms in America today thanks to Donald Trump, especially 16-year-old girls carrying their stepfather's rape baby, all thanks to Donald Trump. Happy Mother's Day on behalf of Donald Trump. Well, it was Mother's Day, so of course the family values candidate gave a big shout out to his devoted wife, former nude model, and friend of Jeffrey Epstein, Melania.
I also want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in America, and especially to my wife, Melania. I'll be home in a little while.
Sure you will. I'll be home in a little while. Not Melania's home. Not the one she's currently sharing with an ex-Secret Service agent. At least that's what people are saying. I don't know if that's true. I hope it's not true, but people are saying Melania is having an affair with an ex-Secret Service agent. I hope Donald Trump isn't being cucked by a Secret Service agent, but that's what people are saying. That's what I'm hearing coming out of my mouth. Anyway, he'll be home in a little while, but the other home, the one Melania doesn't allow herself or her son to step foot in. And then Donald gave a shout out to his mother-in-law who cut into his tea time back in January by passing away.
We're also thinking about Melania's incredible mother who just passed away, sure, Amalia, one of the most beautiful women inside and out that I've ever known. So we want to say hello. She's up there looking down right now. She's saying, that's a large crowd of people.
Yeah, she's looking down right now. That's exactly what she's saying, Donald. No, she's looking down at you saying, you slept with a Playboy playmate the entire year my wife was pregnant with your son, and after she gave you that son, you had unprotected sex with a porn star. That's what your mother-in-law is saying right now. Okay, wait a second. Let's find the black guy in the Trump crowd. Let's do this. We can do it. You can't have a Trump rally without one black guy. Where is the black guy? Anybody see the... there he is, right there. Wow, look at that. Would you believe it? Right behind Donald Trump, so the audience can keep an eye on him. What are the odds that the one black guy in the entire crowd would end up standing right behind Donald Trump? Yeah. I'll be coming home, honey. Be coming home soon. Yeah, I'll be coming home, honey. In just a little while. That's what he said. And the crowd of MAGA morons honestly believes him when he says that. This methane-infused degenerate Donald Trump doesn't even know how old his son is. Newsweek reports this morning that during an interview over the weekend, Trump said his son was 17 when in fact he's 18. But as Matt Gaetz often says, 18, 17, 16, what's the difference? During that big rally in New Jersey over the weekend, MAGA supporters cheered after Donald Trump promised he was going to give tax cuts, not just to the rich, but also tax cuts to the middle class and the poor, so long as they earn more than $3 million a year. ABC News reports that Donald Trump Jr. paid a secret visit to his father's economic advisor, Peter Navarro, who's currently serving a 4-month jail term for contempt of Congress. Don Jr. was there to thank Navarro for his loyalty while measuring the drapes for his father. Yeah, Pop, there's going to be room for a tanning booth, but it's going to be tight. New Jersey's Democratic Senator Bob Menendez's trial began on Monday, where he is charged with accepting bribes from foreign businessmen in exchange for gold, cash, and a Mercedes-Benz. Now, unlike Donald Trump, whose wife Melania has failed to show up for a single one of his criminal trials, Senator Menendez's wife Nadine stood right by her man inside the courtroom yesterday as she too entered a plea of not guilty. This is now Menendez's second corruption trial in less than a decade. Like I said, he's a senator from New Jersey. If you're a politician from New Jersey, you try to time the corruption trials with your colonoscopies, right? Every 5 years, Senator Menendez gets a call. You've been indicted. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I got to make an appointment with my proctologist. Michael Cohen's testimony. Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's fixer, who arranged hush money payments to Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the 2016 presidential election. He takes the stand again today after his testimony yesterday turned out to be almost as explosive as Donald Trump's pants seat. You know, when the tailor measures Trump's inseam, the first thing he asks is, Mr. Trump, which way do you blast? To the left or to the right? Well, Michael Cohen knows all of Donald Trump's secrets, and Donald Trump has never been this angry. Arriving early for yesterday's courtroom drama, Trump made the following statement.
We're here at this disgraceful assault on America. Every legal expert, Judge Mills Lane, Judge Dredd, the Dancing Itos, everyone says it's a total scam. We're all seeing it. I shouldn't be here. Today I was supposed to be in Florida having my Spanx fumigated, but instead I'm forced to sit in this horrible cold courtroom with no access to fried chicken for hours at a time, and with this miserable judge who is not only the most crooked judge in the history of the world, but also farts constantly. And even worse, he throws the sound of his farts across the room. He ventriloquistes to make it appear they're coming from other people, but they're not. They're coming from him, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows he's a crooked judge and a ventriloquist. Judge.
During yesterday's testimony, Michael Cohen said that back in 2016, Trump ordered him to stall on the Stormy Daniels hush money payments to wait her out and see if he couldn't delay cutting her the checks until after the 2016 elections were over. Wow, Trump trying to delay things until after a presidential election. That's so unlike him. Coming out of yesterday's court proceedings, an angry Donald Trump told reporters.
Everyone says this trial is an absolute disgrace. I shouldn't be here. I should be watching the new Planet of the Apes movie. I love the Apes movies. Here's the New York Times. It says, uncommonly thoughtful and insightful. Slips, daring questions, and the chimps look so real like you wouldn't believe, folks. But do I get to see the chimps? No. I have to sit here and watch this corrupt, smelly judge who ventriloquistes. He makes it look like other people are farting. This judge letting Michael Cohen, who everybody knows, look, this is a man who not only lied to Congress, we all know it, but worst of all, he worked for me. No one who's ever worked for me has an ounce of integrity. Don't we know that by now, people? Who are you going to believe? Me or someone low enough to work for me? I'll leave you with this closing thought. There was a crooked judge, and he had a crooked style. He farted in a crooked court and ran a crooked trial. Thank you very much.
Next time you'll be on the campaign trail instead of mingling with wealthy donors.
Judge.
I have a friend named Robert Smigel who found those 2 Trump clips for me. He said, David, you're killing yourself looking for clips to play in your show. You're trying to do it all by yourself. Let me help you. I said, Smigel, Robert, you're too busy. He said, no, I want to help. I'll find some clips. I'll put them in a Dropbox for you. That way you have more time in the day and you don't make yourself sick again. So I am lucky to have a friend like Robert Smigel who found that Trump clip and the previous one. By the way, Trump's gas is a serious problem. The courtroom sketch artist is going blind from it. That is why I am selling the official filter for Trump Farts face mask. I'm absolutely serious. If you're going to be in the courtroom or hanging out at Mar-a-Lago, you need my Trump Fart filter face mask. It's the one Fauci wore. Let me go big screen here. This is on sale right now. Go to shopdavidfeldman.com to pick one up for you and especially your loved ones. This mask is made with 5% elastane. You can't get stronger fart filtration than that. This is what crime scene professionals wear. Don't be fooled by imitators. This is the real deal. Go to shopdavidfeldman.com and purchase the official. This is the official Trump fart filtration mask, the one the pros use, like Dr. Fauci. Dr. Deborah Birx wore it constantly around the White House. She asked me to make one into a scarf. I said, no, we're not playing games here. This is a serious problem, and there's going to be a shortage of them, by the way. Trust me. Once this trial is over and Trump starts campaigning again, there's going to be a run on Trump fart filtration masks. I have my guys turning out as many as we can, but once the convention rolls around, there will be none left. So you want to stock up on the official Trump fart filtration mask, only available at shopdavidfeldman.com. Don't be fooled by imitators. We're talking about your lungs. You do not want a Trump fart entering your lungs, okay? There aren't enough respirators for everybody. Go to shopdavidfeldman.com and buy an official Trump fart filtration mask. The Daily Beast reports this morning that we're about to learn this afternoon from Michael Cohen that back in 2016, when the Access Hollywood video emerged, where Donald Trump told Billy Bush that he grabs women by the genitalia without asking for permission, we're about to learn that it was Trump's wife, Melania, this is true, who came up with the idea of referring to it as, quote, locker room talk. She was the one who told Trump supporters to spin it as what guys say to one another in the locker room. I don't know if you remember Rudy Giuliani immediately said, this is nothing but locker room talk. It was also Melania's idea while she was pregnant for Donald to sleep with Karen McDougal and then sleep with Stormy Daniels right after she gave birth, as well as any other woman, so long as it wasn't Melania. Locker room talk. That was her idea. What kind of locker rooms do they have in Slovenia? What is it like? Was she talking about frozen meat locker room talk that KGB agents had while hanging dissidents on beef hooks? Who talks that way in a locker room? Thanks, Melania. Ohio's freshman Senator J.D. Vance is auditioning for the role of Trump's running mate by telling reporters if he had been Trump's vice president back on January 6, he wouldn't have certified the election for Joe Biden. Vance also said he can't guarantee that he will accept the results in November when Trump loses. And yesterday he showed up at the Manhattan courtroom to lend Trump immoral support. Vance told reporters outside the courtroom that the entire purpose of the trial was to torture Trump psychologically. You know, if the Manhattan District Attorney really wanted to torture Trump psychologically, he'd drop all the charges. Trump lives for this stuff. That's his psychological makeup. His comfort zone is being in trouble. Trouble with creditors, trouble with his wives, trouble with the mafia, trouble with the Russian oligarchs he stole from, and of course, the law. Trouble with the law. Donald Trump has been sued at least 4,000 times. He has declared bankruptcy at least 6 times that we know of. From the time Fred Trump sent this idiot off to military school, there has never been a day in Donald Trump's life that he hasn't been in some sort of legal, financial, or emotional trouble. That criminal courtroom Donald Trump's sitting in is his comfort zone. He's never felt more at home. You really want to make Donald Trump prickly? Tell him there's no enemy. Tell him nobody's coming after him. You know what he would do? If one day he realized nobody was coming for him, he'd go after himself. If there were no enemies, imaginary or real, he'd feed on himself. That's the truth. These trials are what keeps Trump from doing serious damage to himself. Senator J.D. Vance then proceeded to attack Michael Cohen, saying everything Trump is not allowed to because of the gag order. Trump's not allowed to intimidate witnesses. So J.D. Vance stood outside the courtroom yesterday and did it for Mein Fuhrer. Vance said everyone involved in this case is a Democrat. Well, if you mean they want to uphold the rule of law, then yeah, I guess you could call them Democrats, J.D. Vance. Also showing up for Trump's trial yesterday was Alabama Republican Senator and inveterate racist Tommy Tuberville. I don't know if Tuberville is positioning himself to be Trump's running mate. He's an unlikely pick because Trump doesn't want his number 2 to outshine him. And Tuberville has proven himself to be twice the racist Trump could ever be. So Trump's ego could never handle that. He needs to be the alpha dog. But Tommy Tuberville did his best to put his devotion to Donald Trump on display by calling this trial one of the most depressing courtrooms he's ever seen. And by that he means the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, is black. The last courtroom that made Tommy Tuberville this despondent was the one that gave Dylann Roof the death penalty. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is still in the running for Trump's vice president. Trump reportedly still likes her. Seriously, that's what we're hearing. He still likes her because unlike Mike Pence, she comes with a noose already around her neck. Everybody hates this woman. I'd call Kristi Noem a bitch, but I'm afraid she might walk into the gravel pit and shoot herself. But everyone hates Kristi Noem, including 6 South Dakota Native American tribes, which have outlawed her from stepping foot on their reservations. Have you heard about this? Noem is banned from 1/5 of her state. 6 Native American reservations in South Dakota have outlawed Governor Kristi Noem from stepping foot on their reservations because, for several reasons, she fought for the XL pipeline to go through their land. She's blamed undocumented immigrants for crime on their reservations. She's objected to tribal leaders setting up coronavirus checkpoints to make sure nobody was testing positive before coming on their land. She was opposed to that. And for some reason, the tribal leaders were for coronavirus checkpoints. Apparently, those smallpox-infected blankets still leave a bad taste in their mouths. She also offended tribal leaders by accusing them of benefiting off Mexican drug cartels and accused them of creating a community that encourages absentee parenting. She just gets worse and worse. You know, remember the good old days when the worst thing you could say about Kristi Noem is she broke the law by getting her teeth fixed by a dentist in Texas and then try to pay for it by doing infomercials for him? These are her teeth. I'm not making this up. She posted this picture as governor on social media and recorded an infomercial endorsing the dentist in Texas who did her teeth. These are her teeth before the cosmetic procedure, and these are Kristi Noem's teeth after the cosmetic procedure. The problem is right after the surgery, she shot out her canine teeth. They were disruptive, too enthusiastic. She just took a gun and blasted out her canine teeth. And then the dentist had to try to replace them. It didn't turn out exactly as planned, but what does? Republican Kari Lake ran for governor of Arizona back in 2022 on the platform of, this was her platform, this election is going to be stolen. That literally was Kari Lake's entire campaign message. Her entire message in 2022 is vote for me for governor because they stole it from Trump in 2020, and now they're going to steal it from me in 2022. Needless to say, Kari Lake lost, and now she's running for the Senate to have that election stolen from her in 2024. Once again, she runs on nothing other than this election is going to be stolen. You know, she tried abortion, but then Arizona enacted an 1864 era ban. And so she had to distance herself from the entire pro-life movement by, convincing the state legislature to overturn the ban. She has nothing to run on other than this election is stolen. And now she's trying something new. She's running against Hispanic immigrants. Kari Lake has begun to espouse the Great Replacement Theory. This is what Republicans are spouting, and that is Hispanics will replace the white race if we don't stop them from coming over the border. Real smart, Kari Lake, campaigning against Spanish-speaking people in Arizona. Good move there, Senora. 33% of Arizona voters are Hispanic. Kari, trust me, Democrats don't need to steal this election. All they need to do is just keep on letting you talk. Lake is running against Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego, who leads her in all the polls by as much as 8%. Biden won, as you know, back in 2020, and he's going to win in 2024. Partly, he's going to win Arizona because of Kari Lake. Biden's going to benefit from Ruben Gallego's updraft. Democrats in Arizona hate Kari Lake. Everyone hates Kari Lake, and they'll be coming out in droves to vote for Ruben Gallego, and there will be no ticket splitting in Arizona. They're going to come out to vote against Kari Lake, for Gallego, and they're going to stick around and vote for Joe Biden, whether they like him or not. And Trump knows this, which is why he kicked her out of Mar-a-Lago. I'm not making that up. He said, get out of here. I'm sick of seeing you. You're not going to be my vice president. Now get out of here. And he's been complaining privately that she's going to lose Arizona for him. Vice President Kamala Harris, speaking before a group of Asian Americans, said the F word yesterday. She did. She didn't say the F word, she said the actual word. She said, when it comes to barriers, you need to kick the effing door down, but she said the actual word. You know who else says the F word? Joe Biden, every time he realizes who his vice president is. Look, I'm going to be honest. Back in 2020, most of you know my three least favorite Democratic candidates were Biden, Harris, and Buttigieg. And all three of them are working in the White House. And I'm voting for them with all my heart because Joe Biden has turned out to be the most consequential president since LBJ. According to The Guardian, I was wrong. I mean, I would have preferred Bernie would have been better, and Elizabeth Warren would have been better. A couple of other candidates. But Biden knows how to get legislation passed. So does Bernie, and so does Elizabeth Warren. But Biden is the most consequential president since LBJ. According to The Guardian, Joe Biden uses the F word a lot. He has referred to Donald Trump in private as a sick F word. He called Bibi Netanyahu a bad effing guy, as well as an a-hole. I'm cleaning it up. And, you know, political discourse in this country, it should be called the discoursening of the coarsening of our discourse or something. Over the weekend at Donald's New Jersey rally, his crowd once again began shouting bullshit, 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 which also happens to be among the countless things on our planet that Trump smells worse than. 3 years. I need to get some water. I'm sorry. I'm getting over a cold. And my 3 years after divorcing Bill Gates, partly because of his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, Melinda French Gates has resigned from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. For the past 30 years, their foundation has given away $77.6 billion in what can only be described as the greatest tax dodge in recorded history. Not only does Bill Gates fail to pay his fair share of taxes, but he also uses this money that he owes our government to paint himself as a philanthropist instead of what he is, an anti-democratic tax cheat. That $77.6 billion he doled out belongs to you and me and the United States government. That's not Bill Gates's money. It's what he owes the government. Instead, Gates uses the money he stole from us by getting to decide unilaterally what seeds, what fertilizers, and what brand of vaccines and medicines get to be distributed to third world countries. And while the foundation does do some good work, I mean, $76 billion, you're going to hit some right notes occasionally, it would do a lot better if that money was distributed by the federal government. Instead, Bill Gates spends that money, the money that belongs to us, with zero accountability, zero transparency, and we have no idea how much of his foundation's endowment, as well as Bill Gates's personal portfolio, is invested in all the companies that manufacture the seeds, the drugs, the vaccines, and fertilizers his philanthropy forces upon third world nations. This is anti-democratic. That's why it should come as no surprise that while the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has given away $77.6 billion over the past 30 years, its endowment has grown to $75.2 billion. Over a 30-year period, the endowment has dented only $2.4 billion of its principal. Over a 30-year period, it still has $75.2 billion left in its endowment. Now, of course, some of you are going to say, well, they invested the endowment wisely. Yeah. In many of the companies that manufacture the seeds, the fertilizer, the vaccines, and medicine that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation forces third world countries to use. Get it out of your mind that billionaires can spend their money better than the government can. The road to fascism is paved by that way of thinking. Melinda Gates is resigning, and she's taking $12.5 billion with her so she can set up her own foundation. I mean, she could just give it away now, but no, she wants it to be invested so it can outlive her. This is about Melinda Gates's immortality. Long after she's gone, money that should have gone to the government will instead be handed out to those in need. So Melinda Gates can be called a philanthropist instead of what she and her husband really are, and that is tax cheats. You want to put an end to income inequality? You want to put an end to child poverty today? Well, the government should seize the $12.5 billion Melinda Gates is keeping and give, get out your calculators, $10,000 to 1,250,000 children in America. Do the math. You could give 1,250,000 children in America $10,000. That's almost $1,000 a month, for when school is in session. For 1,250,000 American children, you could give $1,000 a month to 1,250,000 American children. And then the next year, you seize, Jeff Bezos's philanthropic foundation. You keep seizing these billionaires' tax dodges that they call foundations, and you keep handing out $10,000 to 1,250,000 kids each year. Do the math. $10,000 times 1,250,000 children is roughly $12.5 billion. Just send it to their parents' checking account. No questions asked. Right? They want to expand the child tax credit? There. You could do it through Melinda Gates's $12.5 billion. I know, the adults in the room say, no, David, it's not that easy. It's way more complicated than that. Yes, because Mark Sussman, CEO of the Gates Foundation, earns close to $2 million a year. That's why it's complicated. Who in the federal government makes that kind of money? But tell me again how billionaires can spend our money, this is our money, better than the government can. The state of Louisiana is about to outlaw abortion pills because that's what America needs. More idiots from Louisiana like Speaker Mike Johnson. Right now, in Louisiana, it's a crime to get an abortion and a crime to provide one. No exceptions for rape and incest. Why? Because people like Mike Johnson literally believes rape and incest, well, that's God's will. I don't know about your God, Mike Johnson, but my God doesn't support or will rape and incest. To make life even worse for women in Louisiana, Republicans now want the abortion pill to be under the purview of the state's Uniform Controlled Dangerous Substances Act. They want to treat the abortion pill in Louisiana like a Schedule I narcotic. What are they doing with the abortion pill down there? Freebasing it? 17% of the people living in Louisiana right now have diabetes, and 3% have diabetes in Louisiana, and they don't even know it. But Republicans are busy outlawing the abortion pill when they should be figuring out how to make insulin free. According to the Yale School of Medicine, a vial of insulin costs $2 to make. $2. And nobody can afford insulin down in Louisiana. It depends if you work for the state, it's a little cheaper, but it can cost as much as $150 a month, $450 a month. Even Senator John Kennedy, the Louisiana Republican, is for lowering the cost of insulin. He wants it down to $35 a month, whether you have insurance or you don't. That's how you know diabetes is a problem in Louisiana, when even this crackpot Kennedy wants to lower the cost of insulin. By the way, Senator Kennedy, no relation to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or to reality, for that matter. Then again, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has a slim grasp on reality as well, so maybe they are related. Who knows? Anyway, Senator Kennedy of Louisiana is all in on personal responsibility, getting rid of the nanny state, right up until he saw the latest stats that 1/5 of his constituents will have diabetes in 5 years. But he says we can't have a nanny state. You can't tax sugary sodas. No, you have to wait till 1/5 of your state has diabetes, and you try to bring down the cost of insulin. Don't readjust the farm bill, right? Don't subsidize the sugar growers or the fast food industry. Instead, try to bring down the cost of insulin. After serving 12 years as Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu was forced to resign by Vladimir Putin. Putin thanked Shoigu for his service to Mother Russia and said it was time to make room for someone younger who won't be accidentally falling out of a window next Thursday at 3 p.m. Shoigu is being replaced by Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov, who has no background in running the military, but he's going to be in charge of Russia's military. He's an expert in finance. Putin has put a financial whiz in charge of his military. This is further proof that Putin recognizes that Russia's wartime economy is prospering. Russia's economy is doing really well. The war is lifting millions of Russians out of poverty as they find work in munitions factories, and it suggests Putin has come to realize there could be a financial incentive to prolonging the war in Ukraine. I guess when you spy on America long enough, you end up learning all our financial secrets. He's become just like America. Cyril Wecht is dead at the age of 93. Dr. Wecht was the go-to pathologist when trying to crack the unsolved deaths of JFK, Elvis, Vince Foster, and OJ's victims. Wecht died from natural causes, choking on his own vomit as he fell down a flight of stairs while sitting on his toilet during a Dallas motorcade. This has been the Mop-Up for May 14th, 2024. Thank you for finding me. I'm David Feldman in New York. Please like this episode so I remain in your feed. Subscribe to my channel and my newsletter. Now, before I go, thank you to Robert Smigel for finding those 2 Trump clips for me. They were really interesting. Before I go, some of you didn't hear me properly when I told you to check out shopdavidfeldman.com. I specifically said don't buy anything. I told you about the Father's Day coffee mug that says world's creepiest stepdad. I said, do not encourage this kind of behavior. It will distract me from doing the type of show that I want to do. But some of you went ahead and bought it anyway. Now, I'm going to assume some of you are going to defy me by buying one of those Trump fart filtration masks. Please don't. You are enabling bad behavior. It's bad for the show. There are a lot of tasteless items for sale over at shopdavidfeldman.com. It's off-brand. It's not who I am. It's not the kind of guy I want to present myself as. ShopDavidFeldman.com reveals a part of my psyche that's better left hidden. That is why I've talked to my sister, and I'm making changes over at ShopDavidFeldman.com. My sister's son, Leonard, is going to be taking it over. Leonard's good with computers and all those other things an aging baby boomer like me gets panic attacks over. And I like Leonard. Before dropping out of school to become a Hollywood stuntman, Leonard majored in marketing. And he's teaching me about branding. For example, this coffee cup that can you see this? I sell this over at shopdavidfeldman.com. Do you see this? This coffee cup that I sell over at shopdavidfeldman.com. It's a picture of Donald Trump, and it says Uncle Scam. He says it's divisive. He says it insults half my audience who might vote for Trump. Now that Leonard's career as a Hollywood stuntman didn't pan out, and I don't want to get into specifics. He was going to be a Hollywood stuntman, but Leonard is afraid of heights. And apparently the stuntman business out in Hollywood fails to accommodate people who suffer with acrophobia. This poor kid had to give up his dream of being a Hollywood stuntman, all because these Hollywood elitists discriminate against people like Leonard who have a fear of heights. So I talked to my sister, and she said, Leonard's a marketing genius. He should run my store. And I met with Leonard, and he was very convincing. He said, forget the funny T-shirts. Forget the funny coffee mugs. It's off-brand for you. Leonard said, he didn't even get, he said, are you trying to be funny here? He didn't know they were jokes. Like, I showed him the Uncle Scam mug. Can you see this? I showed him the Uncle Scam mug, and he said, I don't get it. And I said, well, there's Uncle Sam, but Trump is Uncle Scam. And Leonard said, we have an Uncle Sam? How come my mother never told me about our Uncle Sam? He said, stop trying to be clever. Leonard said I should exploit my audience and use them as walking advertisements for my podcast. It was this is what I'm going to be doing. Leonard said anyone stupid enough to listen to this show is also stupid enough to buy a coffee mug or a T-shirt with the name of my show emblazoned on it. Leonard said a lot of my listeners are stupid enough to pay for the privilege of advertising my show. He said they will pay to turn themselves into human billboards. And I like the way Leonard thinks. He gets branding. I like this. So Leonard went ahead and printed up David Feldman Show coffee cups, David Feldman Show hoodies, and David Feldman Show T-shirts. He printed up hundreds of these. This is where we're going. These are well made. Take a look at this. If you go to shopdavidfeldman.com, you can buy a David Feldman coffee mug. So when you're drinking coffee, you're also advertising my show. And the great thing is you're paying me to advertise my show. I'm not paying you. Here's a David Feldman Show hoodie. Again, you pay for the hoodie. I make money. Then you wear the hoodie all over town advertising my show. And again, I'm not paying you to advertise my show. You're paying for the hoodie. You're paying to advertise my show. This was Leonard's idea. He studied marketing. Here's a David Feldman show white T-shirt. And again, I'm not going to try to be clever or funny. No more funny T-shirts, mugs. Leonard is right. This Uncle Scam coffee mug, it's a dead end. I need to focus on branding this podcast, turning my listeners into poster children for my show. And Leonard is working on David Feldman show sandwich boards for my listeners to buy so they can wear these David Feldman show sandwich boards, during rush hour on a busy street or when they're waiting to pick their kids up at school. So here's the website. I'm really excited about this. This is, I've been trying to figure out how to monetize this show, and I think Leonard is going to help. This is the website. Go to shopdavidferdman.com. Just go to shopdavidferdman.com and get a David Ferdman Show T-shirt, a David Ferdman Show coffee mug, or a hoodie that says David Ferdman Show. Wait. Does something look off here? Did Leonard use a font for David? Is that font for David different from the font for Feldman? Does it line up? Doesn't it look like David is in Helvetica bold while Ferdman is in Railway italic? No. I don't know. Something seems off. Is it my imagination? Something looks off. We do this show live, and maybe the adrenaline is clouding my brain. Anyway, David Ferdman Show. Go to shopdavidferdman.com. Something doesn't look right. I'm not trying to alpha dog Leonard here, but my sister complains I'm tough on Leonard, her son. So I want to be careful here and not undermine Leonard's self-regard. I kind of think I know what it might be. I gave Leonard my credit card so he could print up hundreds of these David Ferdman Show coffee mugs, David Ferdman Show T-shirts, and David Ferdman Show hoodies. And you know what this is? Me holding on, not letting go. This is why I think something's wrong here. It's my inability to trust other people. And this is why I'm sick. I can't let go of this cough because I can't delegate. I see what's going on here. I see the psychology. I was uncomfortable giving Leonard my credit card to make all these David Ferdman Show T-shirts, coffee mugs, and hoodies. And right up until now, instead of identifying my own insecurities, I'm projecting them onto Leonard, trying to find something wrong. He took the initiative, and now I'm trying to undermine him by trying to find something wrong so that he's the one feeling uncomfortable and not me. I've had bosses like that, and I gotta check that. So these are, I'm sorry, Leonard, these are perfectly fine David Ferdman Show products, and I, David Feldman, need to take a deep breath and trust Leonard when he says these David Ferdman Show coffee mugs, T-shirts, and hoodies are going to sell out and be a great branding exercise for the David Ferdman Show. I'm David Feldman, reminding you to stay strong and protect the weak. If you enjoyed any of this show, please hit the like button so I remain in your feed. Please subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe to my newsletter. I don't know if Bob is here, but thank you if you're here, Bob, for keeping the chat room civilized. I didn't thank some super chats, so let me, okay. There were some super chats from last week, the show before, and I can't find them. Anyway, thank you all. I'm trying to do shorter shows, so I may see you tomorrow, but definitely the day after tomorrow. Thank you.